Welcome back to the podcast. And today, we got some drama. And I'm not talking about the good ones. We got teams being shit and people buying other people. And today, we're going to be talking about BBL. And I'm not talking about the Brazilian but I'm talking about the team BBL. All right?
Okay, let me get some context here. So, for those of you who aren't familiar with VCT EMEA, BBL is a Turkish team, and they've been in franchising for the last 2 years now, I think. And to give you some background story, they had an academy team, but they merged it with another organization called Pacific, and so they had what was essentially called BBL Pacific playing in Ascension, while BBL was in franchising in Tier 1. So what ended up happening was BBL Pacific, they won Ascension. They were one of the two teams this year from EMEA to win Ascension. It was BBL and OOF. So the problem here is that supposedly BBL got all of the BBL Pacific players to verbally agree to join BBL in their Tier 1 team for the next year. Now, this is an issue for two reasons. One, the BBL players from the Tier 1 team were already still under contract. This includes really big names, like good talent like Lowen, Sociable, and now Pacific is kind of just getting dogged because they don't have a roster anymore. So what happens there? So there's a bit of a loophole here because there's never really been a situation like this, but I'm sure most of you are aware that academy teams are not allowed to ascend. And so BBL, partnering with Pacific, has just yoinked the whole roster and has essentially just ascended an academy team.
Yeah. So it's an affiliate team. So they found a loophole, quote unquote, to basically do that. I think also the best way to explain it for NA viewers is imagine if Core and Sentinels teamed up for a tier 2 team, and then Core qualifies for Ascension. And then Sentinel's like, hey, your whole team just qualified. We're going to take your entire team, and then you're going to go into VCT, and then you have to find a brand new roster. If that's a best way to explain it for people, for NA fans, if you guys don't know the EMEA teams.
Yeah, and to make it worse as well, there are rumors, I don't know how credible they are, but someone has reported that the slot that Pacific earned due to this situation might just end up going to one of the other Ascension teams, which would have been Dynasty or Mandatory. And so, to continue with the analogy that Enes just gave, so Core gets their roster yoinked by Sentinels, and then Core gets replaced by another team like Envy or, someone else. And so they just lose their spot.
Yeah, I think because I remember there was a rule where they said at least like 2 or 3 of the players had to stay on the roster if they're going into VCT. But I think remember when the guard when they first qualified, right? They qualified, right? But I think the only players that stayed was I think Valen, Jonah, and Trent. I think out of the 3 of them, they were the 3 that stayed. I think there was one more that stayed. Tex was on that roster, but Tex got moved to Leviathan. He moved to Leviathan that year right after I ascended, so they had 3 or 4 of their players. So I thought always the rule was, they can play, they can qualify, but they have to keep the players. So now, if Pacific gets fucked over because BBL just took their entire roster, that means BBL just unless Riot, because this, I think it's still pending, by the way. It's a verbal agreement. There's no signed contracts. I think with that being said, Riot still has a chance to be like, hey, no, you're not leaving. This is you guys actually have to. Up. Yeah, 2 or 3 of you guys are gonna have to stay on Pacific. This is not how it works.
And just to put it into context for you guys, at the time of recording, most players have been signed. So who is Pacific gonna pick up anymore?
Yeah, but a bunch of tier 2 talent.
What are they gonna evaporate or something?
The I think they would just straight up have to their other teams.
They would just straight up have to pick up a bunch of tier 2 players, on God. Unlike they have to find which sucks. And again, their whole team was Turkish. If I'm not mistaken, the org is not Turkish, also, right? It's just the players that were.
I don't know about Pacific, but Pacific, yes, the players were full Turkish.
Right, is what I was my assumption was that BBL Pacific is not. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Pacific is technically a Turkish org. It's what I'm if what I'm getting at here, if what I'm getting from the text here, they look like a Turkish org. So unless they get like 5 cracked Turkish players from tier 2, they won't be a real Turkish team. I guess that's why BBL and Pacific teamed up, because they're both Turkish.
To be fair, if we've learned anything from this Ascension, is that Turkey owns EMEA. I think now
that's
four out of 8 teams in VCT EMEA are Turkish. And I think it's half or more than half of the players are all Turkish nationality.
Yeah, that's like
Dude,
insane.
there must be
Again,
something in the water over there, bro. Like,
dude, they're mechanical demons in Turkey. I'm telling you.
Again, yeah, it's a shitty situation. I don't know if not BBL Pacific, if they Pacific were aware of this, like they knew that the team was gonna get picked up. Because again, I don't think so. They bought them out.
No,
I think their contract ends, and then they were like,
I think their contracts ended, so they're free agents. So then Pacific technically had no say in it, but it's still messed up.
Yeah, I feel like, again, it's the players. The players had to say. I think the players also had a say in it, but also I think money kind of talks. So maybe BBL was like, "Hey, we'll offer you a better contract if you come join us instead of Pacific."
Yeah, I don't think you can really blame the players in this situation.
yeah,
No,
it's
no,
really
I
just
think
like
they really
the
from the org.
executives saying, "Hey, this is what we're gonna do, and you're gonna like it." So I guess even if like this doesn't go through, like you said, Riot still does, I guess, have some time to like step in and be like, "Hey, you can't do that." I don't think it like the players necessarily should be penalized. If anything, it'd be like the organization kind of trying to slip it under the rug.
Yeah, no. I think it's and for the most part I think it's scummy because again, like EMEA had 2 teams qualify, right? Both Turkish teams. Again, I hope Pacific actually stays because it would suck for them as an org for them to qualify for tier 1, which is every tier 2 team's dream is to qualify for franchising. Just to be like, "Hey, yeah, you're not qualifying even though you guys won, you're not qualifying."
And it doesn't only suck for Pacific, it sucks for the other 2 teams who are also competing for that spot in franchising, who lost to Pacific, who are now just getting yoinked to a tier 1 team. And so, essentially, they lost to nobody.
Yeah.
Now what?
You know what I mean?
Because the thing is, they played against each other, right? So what? Would they automatically qualify even though they didn't earn it? Like that's my thing. Is like I think mandatory shouldn't qualify because they aren't like it's not a thing situation. I don't like that.
See, I don't know if you saw the bracket for EMEA Ascension. That's the thing. It's weird. The top 4 teams, there was no bracket. It was one game, and so the teams are, I think, randomly placed against each other. It was ULF versus Mandatory, I believe, and then it was Pacific versus Dynasty, and they just had to win or lose, and whoever won ascended, and whoever lost didn't ascend. There was no second chance, and it was completely random. So it's kind of hard to say who deserved it more.
I think the reason also is because the whole Koi situation and the Gentlemates situation.
Not only Koi, because Koi got replaced by Gentlemates. It's also because Apex backed up.
Yeah, and also Apex did back out. So that was 2 teams that left. So if it wasn't 2 teams that got dipped, there would only be 1 team that qualified, and then this whole situation wouldn't be as bad, right? But I think it's because the 2 teams qualified made things a little weird. But I really do hope Pacific picks up, and also I think this is a great opportunity. Now a lot of tier 2 players might be able to get a chance to shine. I think that would be great to see, or a lot of maybe free agent players, maybe some players from Apex, that are able to sign to the Pacific team. That would be great. Just get a tier 1 opportunity. There's no way. I mean, hopefully Pacific doesn't go 0-5 like Apex did, or what 0-6 was it? So
because Apex was carried by Kayak. I mean, I don't think that's a hot take. I don't think that's a hot take. But
Fnatic kind of yoinked the fuck out of him and was like, "Yeah, no, he's ours now."
I mean, Fnatic calls, you kind of have to answer at that point.
Yeah. But speaking of Fnatic, we could talk about some major roster moves happening. Chronicle, in a random, by the way, terrible post by Vitality.
The way that they did this is crazy.
The way they did it was awful, by the way. Vitality scumbags for it. But Chronicles officially signed with Vitality. There were rumors about it. Nothing official, nothing sufficient. They would just say there were talks because his contract was ending. So he was saying they were just talking and everything. And I guess on a random day, they were like, "Yeah, no, he signed with us." They just posted it. The thing is, they just posted a picture of him. No montage, no skit, no nothing.
Talking about one of the greatest, if not the greatest player to ever play this game. and you just put a PNG to be like, oh, okay, we're winning now.
But also, it's not the fact is, from Fnatic Kojo, the guy who manages Fnatic, he even came out and was like, this is completely unprofessional because they didn't communicate with him. Because Fnatic did want to do a tribute video for him. And they wanted to do a whole tribute for everything. They wanted to make this whole whole thing about thank you for joining the org and all that. And that all kind of got ruined because Vitality didn't want to do it. And apparently the reason was because they wanted to avoid leaks. That's not an excuse. I think who gives a fuck if it's leaks or not?
It seems everyone knows
there's different opinions here. If they cared about leaks, why did they not announce Yampi and Profik? Because they haven't been officially announced yet. They're being leaked. We know that they're on the team.
Yeah. See, that's the issue.
Everyone knows everything. Like, why does it matter?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And another thing is, there's other opinions on this, right? There's also the fact that 4 days prior to his signing, because I think the contract expired on October 20th, and Chronicle was signed on the 24th or 25th, something like that. But 4 days prior to his signing, he was technically a free agent. So Fnatic had no say in his signing to Vitality. But, at the same time, like he's contributed a lot to the Fnatic roster and to the Fnatic fan base. We all love him. I'm a Fnatic fan myself. We all love Chronicle, and I get that Kojo and Sam Matthews, the CEO of Fnatic, they're like upset that they didn't give him a proper send off, and they weren't even given the chance to. But also from Vitality's standpoint, this is now a player that you've signed and you've paid for, and if you want the interactions, the publicity, the Twitter engagement from it, then you're kind of entitled to it. But I guess it is still just professional courtesy to have like communication between the org that you're taking the player from and coordinate with them a bit, especially for a player of this caliber with this much of a reputation as Chronicle has. And again, if you were to do it, why a PNG?
At least something, like a video, a montage.
Yeah, he didn't get a proper goodbye. He didn't get a proper welcome. Like, he got a jersey.
Yeah, low-key, if I'm Chronicle, I'd be like, nah, cut my contract. I'm not even playing next year.
What if he's just humble as fuck and he's like, I don't care?
No, Chronicle is a humble guy.
Yeah,
but still.
It's not like Chronicle is ordering the video to happen.
That's true.
It's more of just like a courtesy thing. He's a legend of the game. He's a legend of the team. Just like give him the common courtesy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially if you're
even Zelsa's got a video, which is the next transfer.
Fucking Zelsa's got a video of all players. You know what I mean? So like that's what I understand. I mean, we can start off with Zelsis. I mean, he officially signed with Cloud9. This is his second or third time joining Cloud9 now?
Third time.
Third time joining Cloud9.
Been around the block.
So in his career, he's been in 3 orgs. He was in version 1, then he was with Cloud9, then he was with Sentinels, then he was with Cloud9, then he was with Sentinels, and he was with Cloud9.
Yeah. I think this is a dumb move. If I'm going to be honest, from Cloud9, I do not think Zalsis is gonna fit well into Cloud9. I don't think they got Penny. They still have Oxy. They dropped Net, and Mitch for some reason. I don't understand.
Dropping Mitch is crazy.
Yeah, I think dropping Mitch was a big mistake. I feel like we needed that. They need some like that leadership and that like
Mitch
mental
is like
fortitude
an OG
on a player
over there. Like
he literally like gave them a way forward that didn't exist for them before.
Yeah. I don't like what they're doing with the moves. I think Net was never the issue. Also, I think Net was always like a great player. I don't think he ever really. There was never a reason for him to be cut. I don't know.
I will say,
yeah,
I'm notoriously a Cloud9 hater because of their consistency in making stupid roster moves ever since I've started watching VCT. They always have a good thing going at some point, and for no reason, they just give it up.
Just break it
this
down.
Yeah, do you remember when they first signed Rooney? When they had Rooney, Jake, all those players on the Cloud9 roster?
That was like 2023.
And Cloud9 looked good. Yeah, Cloud9 looked good. And then they get rid of Rooney. For what?
My thing about Cloud9 is, for some reason, they're allergic to having like real culture in their thing and really developing players. Like for example, they'll sign a crack player in Oxy for like 4 years, and then they're like, yeah, anybody else is expendable. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, and I think that's really bad for players like Oxy because they're not really given the environment in which they can grow as players.
Yeah.
And if you're constantly put in a system where Cloud9 is known as Oxy 9, where Oxy has to drop like 40 a series for them to win anything, then like you're kind of limited in what you can do.
Yeah. I that's what my issue is. I think like they're just getting Zelsis just for the name, if I'm gonna be honest with you. And also he's friends with Ime. So I don't like this whole
And with
because they're
Imi.
Imi, I'm sorry, Imi, but I don't like how they're just like, oh, he's friends with each other, so they're gonna sign each other. I think they kind of fucked up in not signing a tier 2 talent to help Oxy. I feel like they need a younger guy. I think yes, Penny is a great player, and I do respect what he's in. He's a great player. We saw him on Apex for a little bit, and he did well. But I think this offseason should have been the offseason where a lot of people just signed tier 2 players. I think this Cloud9 roster is gonna fucking flop like hell. I think they're gonna be the Fury of next year, if I'm gonna be real with you. Because Fury look actually really fucking solid compared to what this team is.
That's another signing we can talk about.
Yeah, signing.
EU, verbal agreement to Furia.
Yeah, EU, I didn't expect him to be Furia. If you laugh, you go to Furia, rebuild,
He laughed.
He laughed.
You go to... I love that fucking meme. It's so
funny. Giggler on that team.
No, I think that's it. So I think now officially with EU signing, that's official. So it's going to be EU, Alum, Nerve, Koala Noob, and then Artisan. Those are going to be the 5 for Furia, which I'm not going to lie to you. That team looks solid. I think Furia actually really won this offseason. I hate to say it, but Furia looks good. I can't, as much as I'm a hater, Furia looks fucking good. I can't lie.
Man.
They signed players that know how to use a mouse and keyboard. That's already an improvement.
I think my major concern for Furia is just that they're gonna have Koala on IGL, which is confusing to me because both Artsin and Nerve have had experience IGLing before, but they're not doing it. I know that Artsin in the past, even in MIBR, he stopped wanting to IGL, but Koala Noob.
Yeah, because he's known as a duelist, and he's known as this one. Like he's known as when he was on M80, when he was on Navi for a little bit, they got him out for the frag potential, right? I think he is going to be the IGL, but of course Artisan and also Nerve are going to be the mid rounder. They're going to help with mid rounds, and of course they had that role before. They've had it on like Nerve has mid rounded on core before and all that. So I think with that, I think it's good because they technically have like quote unquote 3 IGLs, if you want to call it. Of course, it's gonna be a main voice, and then everyone else gonna have their opinion. I think it just depends on how they're gonna mesh together because I don't think so. These guys have ever actually really played with each other. I think Nerve and Alum are the only 2 that play with each other. Everyone else is they're all new. They haven't played with each other. I'm sorry, EU and Koala Noob did play with each other.
Yeah, on M8 too.
Yeah. So I think it just depends on they have that chemistry. They have that little bit of chemistry there. It really also is gonna see how Artisan's gonna come in, going from basically MIBR to almost a full Brazilian roster to now an entire English-speaking team. I think his English is good. I think there was never an issue with his English, so I think it's fine. But it's going to be interesting to see.
Fluent in English.
Yeah. So again, the language barrier is not going to be an issue. I think it's just depending on play style and how everyone plays. It's going to be interesting to see. I think that this roster looks pretty well as long as everyone plays their role and plays it correctly. I think this squad looks really, really well. For the most part, it looks really, really good. And then I think now the biggest or the last piece of Sentinels that officially got official announcement, quote unquote, John Q2 has reached a verbal agreement with Sentinels to do a contract extension. I want to say they definitely waited for Zelsis to leave so he could announce this. I'm not gonna lie, I think it really depends on Zelsis after this, because he was gone and then it was only John QT and Narrate now left, right? Out of the whole entire roster from last year.
Yeah.
So, what? Now it's going to be John QT, Redux, Q, Cortez. Who was the 5th? There is a 5th. I remember that if I'm not mistaken. But I know, I'm pretty sure Sentinels does have their 5. So, I don't know. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know how this roster is going to... I don't know how to feel about this roster. Okay. They're promoting 2 Academy players. They signed John QT for an extension, and they got Cortez. That's what Sentinels did.
As a Sentinels fan, I am a Sentinels fan. I've got the mouse and everything.
Oh no!
It's gonna be a rough year. It's gonna be. I think we went from 2023 Sentinels, which was possibly the worst year of any VC. It was comparable to Furia this year. So we went from 2023 Sentinels into 2024, where we won the off-season tournament, and we won kickoff, we won Masters Madrid, and then we went into 2025, where we didn't win anything, but we qualified to everything, and we made a stupid tweet out of it. And now we're going into the next year with only one of the players from 2024 when we were actually winning, which is John Cutie. So I think right now, because Sentinels fans are notoriously what's the word I'm looking, insufferable. I think we all need to we all need to collectively lower our expectations for this year, because I don't think Sentinels is going to qualify for any event.
Interesting.
To be honest, as a Sentinels fan, I don't think we're going to.
I know. I mean, again, next year it's gonna be more level, so it's gonna be harder because again, MIBR just got a lot better with Zekin on board. Then you got G2, which as of now there hasn't been any rumors of anybody leaving or anybody switching.
I
So
think
G2 right now has been the only team that has like nothing is heard about them, right? Sadak is coming back to crew, so that's gonna be interesting to see. Maybe Sadak, maybe crew can make some noise with Sadak. Furia looks pretty decent. I don't think again, I'm gonna say this right now. I don't think Cloud9 is gonna qualify for anything again this year.
They never qualify for anything.
They have never qualified for an international event since franchising. I want to state that they have yet to qualify for anything, and they will not qualify for anything.
Unlucky.
Yeah, I don't think anything.
We've got NRG, which is mostly the same with the exception of Psalm.
Yeah, they basically the same team except Psalm. I mean, yeah, losing Psalm is a massive hit. Let's not put that down. It was a massive hit. But yeah, NRG looking like that. So I think next year, like you have at least like 4 teams that are just like looking like powerhouses next year. I don't think Sentinels are gonna be one of them, and I don't think Cloud9 is gonna be any of them. But yeah, we're gonna see. I'm just hoping nobody goes 0-5 or 0-6 next year. That's all I care about. I don't care what happens. I just don't want anybody to go winless next year. That's my biggest thing. Because it's like it's gonna be funny, but also I want some more competition. I just want tighter competition next year. That's all I care about. You know.
Yeah. I think what the problem was in Americas this year before NRG started winning, it was just G2 and Sentinels throughout the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad now NRG figured out what they're doing, but I think that problem has mostly been solved. I think this offseason has been insane. Like, players have moved around everywhere. So I think in general, there's less of a difference between the highest team and the bottom team, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not a G2 Furia 2024 comparison. It's like the worst team would still beat the worst teams from this year, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying. Like this year kind of leveled a little bit more now. I think this year is gonna be a lot more competition. It's not gonna be just G2 3-peating domestically.
Or super teams.
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, it could be.
If they 3-peat again, I'll be very shocked. Again, G2 needs to win an international title because yes, domestically they've been dominant, right? But you can't just domestically dominate and then not do anything for international or flop out internationals. You know, I think next year, I think G2 definitely really needs to. It's gonna be hard because internationally it's gotten even stronger because Paper Rex are still the same team, right?
Now
we're still gonna talk about that.
And they have Vitality.
We have Vitality. We have MIBR. We have Fnatic is still a solid team. You know, they lost Chronicle, yes, but they're still a very strong team. But yeah, it really depends on like what happens next year. Again, anything could happen. You know, nobody expected NRG to win the fucking champions, so who knows?
Nobody expected EDG to either the year before that.
Yep. So we're gonna see on that.
Valorant out here, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be insane. But yeah, now that's it for the news. Everything regarding that. If you want to check up on anything regarding us and what we are up to, check out QOR Gaming at Twitter and follow us on YouTube if you're listening to us also. And check out the merch, QORgaming.com/shop. QORgaming.com/shop. And yeah, check out the merch. Alrighty, guys. Goodbye.